Welcome to another exciting video from Myopic Mind. Today, we discuss the greatest figures of Greek mythology. Before we start, let's go over a quick backstory. The Greek gods were named the Olympians, who ruled from atop of Mount Olympus. Their reign began after the Battle of the Titans, where Zeus and his siblings defeated their father, the Titan god Cronus. According to ancient Greek legends, the Olympian gods held immense power and ruled over vast dominions. They shared control over various aspects of the world and life itself, such as the sea, land, weather, wealth, sustenance, fertility, and love. They were worshipped by the ancient Greeks, who performed sacrifices and rituals to seek their favour and avoid their wrath. So why was this the case? Let's find out. Thank you for tuning in to Myopic Mind as we list 10 of the most famous Olympians. Number 1. Artemis. Artemis, daughter of Zeus and Leto, and twin sister of Apollo, is the goddess of hunt, wilderness, the moon, and chastity. She is associated with the skill of archery and spent most of her time in the forest surrounded by animals. She had the power to bring disease upon women and relieve them of it. She also carried the role as the mother goddess and is linked to fertility and assistance of women during childbirth. In legend, Artemis asked her father Zeus to allow her to abstain from men and remain chaste for eternity. Alpheus, the river god, fell in love with her, and she rejected his love and repelled many attempts to persuade her. In another story, a young boy, Aphrodite, is turned into a girl because he accidentally saw her bathing. Artemis was one of the most widely venerated Greek gods, and various temples were built in her name. Her temple at Ephesus was actually one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Number 2. Demeter. Demeter is the goddess of agriculture and harvest. She oversees the fertility of the earth and the growth of grains and fruits. Often worshipped as a goddess of the earth, she was credited for being responsible for the nourishment of all beings on the planet. She was also called the giver of customs, or legislator, in relation to the female-only festival Thesmophoria held in her honour. In one of the most prominent tales in Greek mythology, Demeter's young daughter, Persephone, is abducted by the god of the underworld, Hades, during one of his rare visits to the surface. Hades had received the permission of Persephone's father, Zeus, to make her his bride, but Persephone eventually fell in love with him, with a little trickery from Hades. But the earth stopped bearing grain and cooled, and Demeter grieved the loss of her beloved daughter. After an argument, Hades let Persephone leave. She would spend half the time of the year with her mother and the other half with her husband. Upon the return of Persephone, the flowers bloomed and the earth came back to life. Thus, Demeter brings winter upon the world during her yearly mourning, and Persephone is celebrated as the goddess of spring due to her yearly return. As the goddess of fertility, Demeter was idolized. The center of her worship included Athens, Thebes, and Laconia. Number 3. Apollo. Apollo is the son of Zeus and Leto and the twin brother of Artemis. He is the god of archery, music and dance, truth and prophecy, healing and disease, sun and light, and poetry. Not only was he pretty much the god of everything, but he was also considered to be the most beautiful of all male gods. Additionally, Apollo was known to offer help to those in need. He was the patron of herdsmen and shepherds, and he protected their flocks and crops from disease, pests, and predators. He is also the helper god for foreigners and refugees, and the promoter of civil establishments. Conversely, his arrows wielded the power to bring ill health and deadly plague. Apollo and his sister Artemis are credited with the invention of archery itself. Apollo's greatest temple is situated in Delphi, where his priestesses, the oracles, constantly called upon him. The Pythian Games, one of the 4 great Panhellenic games, were held every year in his honour in Delphi. Number 4. Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the goddess of love, beauty, sexuality, pleasure, passion, and procreation. In her most famous myth of her creation, she was born from the foam produced by the genitals of her father Earth, Uranus, after his son Cronus had severed them from his body and thrown them into the sea. Wow, these stories are not for children. Aphrodite controls all aspects of physical desire and is responsible for procreation between humans. Because she was the embodiment of beauty and sensuality, she also has the power to entice gods to fall for her. She married Hephaestus, the god of crafts, metalworking, fire, and volcanoes, but did not regard Hephaestus as a worthy partner, as he was considered unattractive amongst the gods. She held him with such low regard that they had no children together. But Aphrodite did not stay chaste, as she had many children through illegitimate relationships with the majority of male Olympian gods. The main centres for Aphrodite's worships were Cythera, Cyprus, Corinth and Athens. The festival of Aphrodisia was celebrated annually in midsummer in her honour. Number 5. Athena. Athena is the goddess of wisdom, handicraft and warfare. In legend, she was born from the forehead of her father Zeus. Athena was the patron and protector of Athens and various other cities across Greece. In the founding myth of Athens, Athena won patronage by besting Poseidon in a competition during which she created the first olive tree. Depicted as stern and austere, she would lead soldiers into the field of battle. She was the god of warfare to provide guidance and resolution of disputes, strengthening her status as the goddess of wisdom. She aided various heroes, such as Perseus and Hercules, in their heroic endeavours and was regarded as the patron of heroes. Athena was also one of the 3 goddesses, along with Hera and Aphrodite, who were involved in the prelude of the Trojan War. The Parthenon on the Athenian Acropolis was built in dedication to Athena, and the festival Panathenaic Games was celebrated in Athens in her honour. Athena has become a symbol of wisdom, the arts and classic learning in the Western world. Number 6. Ares. Ares, son of Zeus and Hera, is the god of courage and war. He personifies the attributes considered necessary for success in war, such as valour and courage, but his patronage also extends to brutality, savagery and bloodlust. These qualities are in contrast to his sister Athena, who is exclusively associated with military strategy and generalship. Under his favour, armies posed immense threat and could carry out great destruction upon their enemies. Ares' personality is often shown as ferocious or untamed, and the gods held ambivalent feelings towards him. For example, his father Zeus expressed revulsion towards him when Ares returned from the Battle of Troy. He was not well liked amongst the other ancient Greeks, but they commonly performed rituals and sacrifices dedicated to him, even including human sacrifices. The purpose was to gain his help in battle and to avoid his terrible wrath. Number 7. Hades. The god of the dead is the son of Titus, Cronus and Rhea, and after the War of the Titans, Hades became the god of the underworld. The underworld is reserved for the dead, and living beings are barred from entry. Cerberus, the 3-headed dog, guards its entrance. Hades collects the souls of every being who enters his realm upon death. In many narrations, he also holds command over Tartarus, the wretched pit of punishment, where vile creatures are sent and tormented after dying. The Titans, along with Hades' father Cronus, are imprisoned in Tartarus. Hades was a fearsome figure to those still living. Afraid of drifting closer to death, they were reluctant to swear oaths in his name. Yet Hades was widely recognised among ancient Greeks, and they made frequent sacrifices in his name. Those who were present during these rituals didn't look towards the sacrifice to avoid even a glimpse of Hades' power. Number 8. Hera. The queen of the gods, Hera, is the daughter of Cronus and Rhea and sister and wife of Zeus. Yep, you heard that right, a lot of weird relationships are found in Greek mythology. Hera is the goddess of women, marriage, family and childbirth. Her own marriage to Zeus was far from perfect, as he engaged in countless affairs with goddesses and mortals and fathered numerous children through them. Although the queen of the gods is principally majestic and solemn, Hera's jealousy and vengefulness became one of her defining attributes, and she engaged in revenge against Zeus's illegitimate lovers and the children they bore. One of the most famous Greek legends is of Hera's wrath against Zeus's illegitimate son, Heracles, also known as Hercules. His name literally meant glory to Hera, but that meant nothing to Hera, as he was the embodiment of her husband's infidelity. She tried to kill him several times, driving him mad, which resulted in Hercules murdering his own family. Hercules later became immortal and joined the gods at Mount Olympus, and Hera adopted him upon his immortality. Ancient Greeks have built statues and temples in Hera's name. The Hera Games were held in her dedication, which became the first sanctioned women's athletics competition. Number 9. Poseidon. Poseidon, son of Cronus and Rhea, is the god of the sea. Poseidon ruled over the grand dominion of the seas following the defeat of his father Cronus. Poseidon was the patron of ships and seafarers and many cities and colonies of ancient Greece. In Plato's works, he is even depicted as the ruler of Atlantis, a mythical underwater city. When Athena became the patron goddess of Athens after a competition with Poseidon, he unleashed a monstrous flood upon the plains of Attica to punish the Athenians. In Homer's Odyssey, when Odysseus provokes Poseidon by blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus, Poseidon punished him thoroughly with devastating storms and the outright loss of his ships and companions. Poseidon has been synonymous with might and power, and his symbols are still widely used in the modern age. For example, the DC superhero Aquaman shares many characteristics with Poseidon. Panionium was a sanctuary dedicated to Poseidon about 100 kilometers south of modern-day Izmir, where his festival was originally celebrated. Number 10. Zeus. Zeus is the god of sky, lightning, thunder, law, order, and justice. He is the youngest child of Cronus and Rhea and gained dominion of the sky when the Olympians succeeded the Titans. Zeus is considered the chief god and the lord of humankind in Greek mythology. He was respected as all-father among gods, and they would all rise in his presence. During his war with Cronus, he released Cronus's brother, the Cyclops, from Tartarus. In return, the Cyclops gave him the gift of lightning and thunder. Mother Earth, Gaia, became angry at the way Zeus treated her children and Titans, so she unleashed her other children, the monsters Typhon and Echidna, upon Zeus. Zeus banished Typhon and buried him under Mount Etna, but he let Echidna and her children live. Zeus married Hera, with whom he fathered Ares, Hebe, and Hephaestus. He is also known for his numerous extramarital sexual escapades. Many major gods and legendary heroes were born from Zeus's illegitimate affairs, including Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, Hercules, and Helen of Troy. As the Lord of gods and men, Zeus oversaw justice, law, order, honor, and the keeping of oaths. Zeus is considered the supreme cultural embodiment of ancient Greek religious beliefs, and the Greeks converged at Olympus to pay honor to their chief god. Every 4 years, the Olympic Games were held in his honor. So that's it, folks. These are 10 famous Greek gods. Their legends have survived through millennia, and their symbols are still present in the modern world. Please let us know if you want to hear about the Titans in the new video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time on Myopic Mind.